So it's the top of 2018, and battle rap has been fiending for the first major event to go down. So Smack, Beasley, and the URL family decided to take a trip out of town to the DMV. Was the event a success? Did the battles turn out how everybody thought they would? Who had the best performances? All these topics and more coming up on the Battle Room. Survivor Series DMV overall was a solid event. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it like a C plus. It wasn't anything too crazy, but it wasn't a bad event either. It's a good way to start off the year for URL. Me being from Maryland, I'm glad they were able to come to a state that's close to my backyard and have a successful event. I heard Beasley say in an interview that he estimated that between 500 and 600 people came out. So that's love right there. It seems like URL has tapped into a new market where they can potentially throw bigger events and have young up-and-coming artists from that area on the cards as well. As always, the pay-per-view was superb. Shout out to Avocado, shout out to Champion. Them dudes picked up right where they left off from Smack Volume 1, and I hope that they continue to use that winning formula moving forward. Also, shout out to whoever's decision it was to play music from the clips in between the battles. I was in the crib rocking out like the entire time, man. First battle of the night was Jade versus Diesel. This one pretty much set the tone for the event as a one-sided affair, as a lot of the other battles turned out to be later on in the night. Diesel had the home field advantage, and she clearly was comfortable on stage. Her performance, her everything just came off a lot smoother than Jade. Jade, it almost seemed like she was getting heckled to the point where she said multiple times, "I want to fight." I'm not really sure if it was one person that was heckling her or if she just wasn't used to being in somebody else's backyard to battle. I know that Jade is new to battling and that she's been a big fan of URL for a while, and now she's trying to transition into actually being a performer. So hopefully that's something that she gets more accustomed to, is actually being on stage in front of people, because not only did it seem like she was getting heckled, but she also looked kind of nervous, and that really affected her performance. Overall, this was a clear 3-0 for Diesel, and shout out to her for actually winning the $1,000 check that was put up for the battle. Next battle of the night was Craig Lamar versus Holmesy the God. I wouldn't say this performance was great for either one of these guys. I've seen better from Craig Lamar, and I feel like I've seen better from Holmesy, but Holmesy overall was the more consistent battler. Craig Lamar definitely had moments in his rounds where it seemed like he was going off for a quick second, and then he would follow it up with something weak. It seemed like he was trying too many different things, and while sometimes being versatile can be a good thing, it can also be a bad thing if you don't really know what you're doing. Holmesy just had harder hitting lines, and his rounds were better just from an all-around standpoint. This battle was a clear 2-1, if not a 3-0 for Holmesy the God. Next battle was Moon versus Young X. I was actually pleasantly surprised by Young X during this battle. I thought he had a really dope performance, man. He's somebody who's viewed in the culture as someone who's comedic and has a lot of jokes in his bars. Moon performed the same way that he's been performing on the URL platform. The same off-kilter flow and the witty one-liners. On top of that, he was literally at home, being from Richmond. So he kind of had the crowd in the palm of his hands for the first couple rounds. The first round was the closest round, and it's pretty much a consensus that the edge goes to Moon in the first. The second round was clear as day for Moon, and in the third, Moon cut his round short, so that round pretty much clearly goes to Young X. So the battle overall, 2-1 Moon. Next battle of the night was Snake Eyes versus Mac Mel. To make a long story short, this is a clear win for Snake Eyes, man. There's no two ways around it. Snake Eyes really didn't do anything too crazy. He just came out and applied pressure every round. Every round he was applying pressure. His rounds were a lot longer than Mac Mel's, and he delivered with a lot of conviction in his bars. So everything was just coming across so much better than Mac Mel's material. I came into the battle thinking that Mac Mel's performance would help to magnify how his bars came across when he hit the stage for the URL. But it feels like he kind of went the opposite way and relied on his performance to carry his bars instead of crafting dope bars that he could perform, like the haymaker that he had in the second round, which I won't give away. Also, Mac Mel had a weird moment where I guess technically he didn't choke, but it took him like 2 or 3 minutes to get into his third round because he couldn't remember how to start the round off. I don't know how that's going to come out on cam, but watching the pay-per-view live, it came off as a choke. Either way, this battle was a clear 2-1 for Snake Eyes, if not a 3-0. The next battle was the main event, Mr. Wavy versus New Jersey Twerk. Wavy came out and rapped before the coin toss, started off his round real aggressive, and had a very, very solid first round. I feel like Mr. Wavy knew that he was in enemy territory and decided to jump out there and try to get the crowd on his side before New Jersey Twerk even got the chance to rap, and I think he accomplished that goal. Twerk came out and had some good material in his first round also, and to be honest, watching the pay-per-view live, I felt like it was a preference round for whichever artist you preferred more. And I guess a lot of people saw the battle the same way that I saw it because I prefer Wavy more than Twerk in the first round. Second round comes and Mr. Wavy turns up. This is clearly his best round of the battle. He was going so hard to the point where New Jersey Twerk called time on him and cut his round off. On top of that, New Jersey Twerk comes out in the bottom of the second round and chokes like 12 bars in. At this point, the battle was kind of over. Mr. Wavy came out and started his third round with the end of his second that got cut off. He felt like having Twerk's face on the t-shirt showing his hairline was bothering him, so I guess he pulled a vet move and switched his rounds around to make sure that that material got out. Twerk's third round was clearly his best round, and he probably took that round clearly, but it wasn't enough to shake the feeling that Mr. Wavy overall was just a better man that night. And the consensus is that Mr. Wavy won that battle 2-1. Mr. Wavy was also awarded champion of the night, which I personally have a problem with, but I can't really be mad at it because ultimately he did come in and do the impossible by beating Twerk in his backyard. Pretty much everybody was doubting Mr. Wavy, not for lack of skill on his own. It's just that New Jersey Twerk had that good of a year last year to the point where it's hard to bet against him. But salute to Mr. Wavy for going in and doing the unexpected, man. And he definitely deserves a big plate for his next URL battle for sure. The next battle on the card was Prep versus Franchise. There's not much to say about this battle. Franchise won clearly 3-0. Prep's material just was not that good. And Franchise, on the other hand, came out and did the same thing that Snake Eyes did to Mac Mel, and that was apply pressure every round. He had dope bars, and his delivery was improved from the Joe battle where people felt like his pace was entirely too fast. It was more digestible for the crowd. So overall, Franchise might have caught the body of the night. Next battle of the night was Prez Mafia versus Rada. Low-key for the first 2 rounds, this was the battle of the night. Prez came out with very dope material and was hitting back to back. But unfortunately, Rada was coming off of a year-long hiatus as far as a solo battle. Simply put, Rada was wigging, man, on every level. He was wigging. I saw an interview where Rada said that he sits back and he studies battle rap, basically. And you can tell just by how efficient and how well he knows what to do and when to do it as far as a battle is concerned. His rounds were very well structured. He didn't overdo any Prez angles that we've all heard before. And he definitely lived up to his nickname as the Haymaker King because he had a few moments that just brought the house down, bro. Overall, clear 3-0 for Rada. The next battle was Jerry West versus Jackboy Maine. Overall, this battle was kinda underwhelming considering the fact that people thought it would be battle of the night. Jerry West said in their face-off that his goal was to basically improve on his last 2 performances and I don't really feel like he did that. And on the other side of it, Jack Boy said that he pretty much had to make people forget about his loss to YK and prove that he deserved to be on URL. And he didn't really do that either. Neither one of them were whack. They were both solid. It just wasn't the amazing back and forth battle that everybody thought that it would be. The consensus is Jerry West was the better man that night, and he got the battle 2-1, if not 3-0, edging every round, nobody. And the last battle of the night was actually a surprise battle between Chess and Glue Easy. Shout out to Chess because according to Smack, he actually did this battle for free because he felt like his previous performances on the URL stage weren't up to par. So that's a dope look that he's recognizing that he needs to improve his performances and be more prepared. Hopefully that's something we can look for in the future. As far as this battle was concerned, his first round came out mostly clean, but his second and third, he kind of stumbled through them. I see people saying that Chess choked. He never choked. Like, to me, a choke is when you stop your round. So I wouldn't say that he choked, but he had long stumbles and he was stuttering through it. Same that he did in his Trez battle, but just not as bad. Glue Easy, on the other hand, was very solid, very consistent. Had a few moments here and there, but nothing too noteworthy. However, when your opponent is stumbling and people feel like he's choking or whatever the case is, you don't really have to do too much to get the win. And that's what Glue Easy did here, 2-1. I feel the need to say, I feel like Ryder got robbed for that champion of the night. I understand why people look at Wavy as champion of the night because he came in the main event, he beat the biggest name on the card. Mostly everybody was betting against Wavy, so I get that. But Ryder had the best performance of the night in terms of you picking out one person who had the best 3 rounds. It was Ryder for sure. As far as what's next for a few of these guys on the card, I think Holmesy the God and Franchise should battle on like a Born Legacy or something like that. Both of them being up and coming dudes from like the same class basically. I think that'll make for a good back and forth matchup. Snake Eyes and Moon actually faced off at the champion table in between battles, and they pretty much both agreed that they would battle each other at some point. Mr. Wavy has called out Briz in a couple interviews since he beat New Jersey Twerk. And with that type of performance, it's kind of a thing where he can pick what plate comes next for him. So I would like to see them battle on maybe like a Gnome or something like that. Also, I think it would be interesting to see Wavy battle Mike P. For New Jersey Twerk, he's already came out and said that he's booked again on URL, so it looks like maybe he'll be battling on the Smack Volume 2 card coming up at the end of March. Twerk has said that he wants to battle Nitty and he wants to battle Briz also, so one of those guys I'm sure is probably what's next up for him. Also, if they battled in a small room, I would like to see Twerk battle Diz. It's not really a battle that I see mentioned a lot in terms of potential battles for Twerk, but I think that their styles can match up pretty well as far as the aggression and the lyricism is concerned. Whoever his next battle is, I'm hoping that it's somebody who will motivate him to get his preparation started a little bit earlier because he needs to have a clean performance in whatever his next battle on URL is. For Ryder, I think he should battle like a Rum Nitty or a JC, somebody who can match his pen and bang back and forth with him on that level of lyricism. Also, John the Don actually tweeted that Ryder is one of the 4 people that he's willing to battle on URL. And because of John's history with the Goonies, I feel like that would be a dope matchup with a good backstory behind it as well. For Jerry West, I'd like to see him battle somebody like Mike P or Chef Trez, maybe to headline a Born Legacy or to be on like one of the earlier battles in a Smack volume. Something small room where it's a good look for Jerry West, but at the same time, it's not a main stage event. As far as Chess, I definitely have opinions on what I feel like Chess should do, but I actually have a video coming out later on this week that involves those opinions, so I'll save that for the other video. As far as my predictions for this event, I got 5 predictions right and 2 wrong. Snake Eyes and Mac Mel, and Wavy and Twerk. As I told y'all in the previous video, I'm gonna be keeping track of my predictions for as long as I'm blogging. That way you'll have a percentage to go off of in terms of my track record for making accurate predictions. So after this event, that percentage starts off at a 71%. As far as what's next for URL, they announced that Hollow versus Arse, the rematch, will be going down at Smack Volume 2, March 31st. I appreciate you watching this video. If you're still here, drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about Survivor Series event, and subscribe to the channel for more dope content in the future. My name is Stan, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.